So here's an interesting video. A lot of fans have been doing this and I think it's really awesome. They're pitting the renditions of the DC heroes from DC obviously against the parody versions from The Boys. If you guys have not seen this show, you should definitely watch it, especially if you're someone who loves superhero stuff. You'll notice right away that even from the trailer that the characters or superheroes in the show are basically direct copies of the DC heroes. Homelander in this case being a copy of Superman. And of course the lovely Maeve being a copy of Wonder Woman. I gotta say, Homelander scared the crap out of me when I watched this. I'm like, God, man, Brightburn, but you know, when he's all grown up. So what if Homelander met Superman? First of all, what would they do if they met each other? Superman is someone who always strives for peace. I don't think he would fight Homelander, but he definitely would try to execute justice, knowing how Homelander is. The Man of Steel would try to wreck him, and let's just not forget that he did fight somebody who was one of his kind before, General Zod. Let's just make this quick, okay? Just in case you guys want to click off this video. Superman would win, okay? There's no doubt about that. Homelander would put up a good fight, but Superman has a lot of advantages over him. Even though they are a lot similar, they're not exactly the same. And I'll tell you why. Now, I could be wrong, and you can debate this if you want, but I don't think I am. Now, one thing I do like about The Boys is it does address certain things that we've probably all thought about, but by him even mentioning this, it gives away him being less superior than Superman. I know these things sound ridiculous to us, but yet, they're superheroes, and Superman's still able to do this. Take a look at this clip.
Go out there, lift the plane up.
Lift the plane? How? There's nothing to stand on. It's fucking air.
I don't know, fly at it, ram it straight.
That kind of speed, either the plane goes ass over tit or I'll punch straight through the hull.
Okay, so from that clip, I know it sounds ridiculous, and they're going for logic here, which is something that people have been, even in Big Bang Theory and other TV shows, been having an issue with. Like, for example, when Superman tried to catch Lois Lane. Technically, because of how strong he is and the speed at which he goes to try and catch people, he should slice right through him. But let's just be an advocate for Superman here and say that maybe he has enough experience to know how fast he should be going and to level out his speed to catch people, or to level out his speed to catch the plane. And Superman would be able to fly and lift something without having to stand on anything. Superman has an advantage. He knows how to do that. And maybe, let's just say Homelander might know how to do this as well. Or my bad, might have the ability to do this. The very fact that he doesn't know he can do it, or he can't find a way to do it, maybe if he really wanted to, he could, but tells us that he's not as superior as Superman, or at least not as experienced. But after having taken a look at Superman's abilities, we realized that no, Superman is better because he has something that's called tactile telekinesis. This is a method that Superman can employ, or ability that he does have, which allows us to explain how he's able to fly with really large objects. Apparently, objects that are touched by Superman become enveloped by an invisible telekinetic field, and that allows him to move them with the force of his will. Since Homelander explained in that little scene that he's like, how would I freaking lift a plane? He obviously doesn't have that ability, because chances are, at his age, he would have figured it out by now. Because we know Homelander made no qualms about using all of his abilities and exploring them, just like the little kid from Brightburn would. Maybe Superman would be more reserved, but Homelander isn't. So chances are he would have figured it out by now if he did have that ability, which he does not. So that ultimately makes Superman leagues above him in abilities and strength. Now, you can still fight if you want to and say that, you know, the show is just not ignoring physics and blah, blah, blah. But Superman having that stabilizing field does explain that away. He has an ability which explains why he can do that. There is a form of telekinesis. While obviously here, since they did full stop that point, Homelander does not. Moving on. Someone did mention something that was very interesting. Even though these characters in The Boys are copies of the DC heroes, they are still much weaker just by what they say in the show alone. As a user on a forum mentions, and to make it fair, we're using the TV show renditions of them, not the comic versions. Now, I also want to just put a disclosure here that I did not finish watching the Flash show. I'm still at like season 2 or season 3 or something like that. So I don't know really like how fast he is. I didn't hear them say that. I'm just going off of what is read here. But I did know that he was able to freaking change dimensions and stuff just by running how fast he was running. So the Flash is trillions of times the speed of light. He moves so fast that he can travel through time. And yes, he doesn't really travel at light speeds due to the space-time continuum. And of course, the Speed Force. When Barry, in the TV show, and I think in the comics as well, uses his Speed Force, he can create a hole through the space-time continuum, and that's what he uses to travel through time. A-Train can't. They claim that he can go over 1,000 miles per hour, and apparently that's just a lot lower than what Barry can do. Also, it is mentioned that Maeve broke every bone in her, not body, but in her arm, I think, when she was trying to stop a bus and save the people. However, Wonder Woman wouldn't. So there's no question here that the counterparts in The Boys are much weaker renditions of the DC superheroes that we know and love. We just don't even really notice that because Homelander and Superman are the strongest versions of all of those superheroes. So next to Superman, Homelander is looks just like him. But when there really is no contest. Also consider Superman's fight with General Zod. Now, people would say that General Zod has military training and Superman doesn't, so it's more of a clap to the face to Zod that he was able to be bested by Superman, even though he did put up a significant fight. In many ways, you can say that Zod would be stronger, Zod would have better tactics than Superman, but Superman did grow up on Earth with the sun being his nutrition, so he, in a lot of ways, is a lot stronger. I think also, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that General Zod also fought Superman's dad, and I think Superman's father was also a scientist, and Superman's dad was still able to beat him and handed Zod's ass to him. So even though Zod is trained, I think there's some kind of superior DNA going on here with Kal-El, that even Zod, a military Superman species, can't even beat Superman. So what more Homelander, who also hasn't been trained in military? And remember, Superman wasn't even putting up a lot of a fight in this one because he didn't even want to kill Zod. I think that was the main thing. If Superman was as nasty as Homelander, he probably would have killed Zod a lot quicker than we've seen. Here, Superman clearly doesn't want to hurt him and he's holding back a lot, just like he did in Justice League against the people, Wonder Woman and all the others. Superman, in his nature, does not want to kill. He's not evil. But if he were evil, and he were to unleash all of his power, he would snap Homelander's neck, no problem. Superman has also adapted to life on Earth. I think that had something to do with that fight as well. That would probably also put Superman at the advantage. Him being who he is, but also with getting his powers from the sun and having been on Earth. While Homelander was created in a lab. Now, yes, Homelander does have his abilities, and I'm sure that he's explored with them, but not in combat as much as Superman has. Again, that boils down to experience. But also knowing Superman, he probably wouldn't want to kill Homelander. He probably, again, would want to talk to him and try to drive some sense into his skull, saying that this is not how you want to be. And Homelander would probably try to get Superman to be on his side. If Superman was not evil and he was in his right mind, he probably would still very much beat Homelander. And Homelander's not really stupid. He knows that if somebody has the ability to best him or to kill him, he's not going to try and cross that person. He's going to try and befriend them. So this fight probably wouldn't even be to the death to begin with. Now, if we enter Kryptonite into the scene, things might be different. And Homelander is wicked enough that if he did present Kryptonite, then he would not hesitate to kill Superman because he'd be threatened by someone who's better than him. As far as I know, aside from his mommy issues, Homelander doesn't have any such weakness. So that would be the only advantage that he has over Superman, and you can bet your ass that he would exploit it if he found out Superman's weakness. As for power and experience, unfortunately for Homelander, Superman wins this one. But what do you guys think? Without Kryptonite, do you think that Homelander stands a chance against Superman? I think he would put up a good fight, especially if Superman is reserved and he actually doesn't want to kill the guy because that's just Superman's nature. But do you think that if none of them were holding anything back, that Homelander would have a chance at killing Superman at all? Let us know in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. This has been Altiori. You ask, we answer.